Hello, I am Donnie, and I am the cute one.
And I'm Chelsea, and I am the cute one. So glad you could join us on this Friday.
Well, what if I was raptured, Chelsea? Wouldn't the joke be on you? If that's why I was silent, because my soul was leaving.
Well, you are still clothed, so. TGIF, cuties, full disclosure, this is pre-recorded because currently I'm at a funeral. So live, laugh,
R.I.P.
love.
Also, cuties, officially, welcome to the I Am the Cute One Rapture special. Because Chelsea said this is pre-recorded, so it's quite possible that some of the cuties normally in the chat aren't here because the Rapture is scheduled sometime for this week. Originally, it was scheduled for Tuesday, and then as Tuesday was quickly approaching, I think maybe we decided we should backtrack. So he was like, by the end of the week. Now, we will still be here next week, whether
100%.
it happens or not. So if you're stuck on Earth with us, don't fret. You will get 2 main feed episodes a week, and we'll still be on Patreon because who knows? My boss at the theater might be raptured, and then there goes my full-time job. I'll need Patreon money.
Yeah, and that being said, if you do plan on being raptured, please feel free to send us your bank account information. We would be happy to look over your worldly possessions while you are zooting on up to the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah. In fact, maybe that's why I made it later in the week, so you would have more time to like do things like that.
Yeah.
Transfer my name on your rent agreement, etc.
Well, and taking care of your animals. Because were you aware of a business venture that's happening here where it is called After the Rapture Pet Care? And it is a service where Christians who are prepping for rapture can find a heathen in their life who will agree to take care of their animal once they depart.
Like a godmother.
I see what you did there. Okay, you got it on me last week for not using our soundboard, and I'm not quite there yet, but say that godmother line again.
Godmother.
Oh. I did the wrong one. Hold on.
I like the first one. It made me feel like I was in Gypsy and I was stripping.
So there you have it. That's what happens when you tell me to do the soundboard.
Thank you. No, I liked it. So we'll be here no matter what, of course. But it really, and I need you to know I'm not joking about this. I'm not someone that was on TikTok like crying about the rapture, but I was someone who was like, will this mess with my pop culture? And I think I, Donald Hadfield, am safe because Ariana and Cynthia aren't going anywhere. So we still get a Wicked press tour. These are both women who broke up happy homes. Or maybe not happy, but they broke up homes. They're staying here. So we'll still get a Wicked press tour. Finger holding will still happen. They'll probably be more emotional that they weren't raptured. So like anything we got last time is more.
That theater kid energy will really come out because it's like they weren't picked for a show.
Oh, yeah. The cast list is up and you're not on it.
Uh-huh.
Bravo shows won't change at all because the producers and all the talent will still be here. So we get those like nothing's changed. And in terms of Big Brother, Julie Chen, I don't think will be raptured because, you know,
the
she's
supporting the husband.
Yeah, the
thing.
Moonves part. But I do think she'll drop because I think she'll be upset she wasn't raptured. So
she will be
won't
taking
be
those 7 years we have not to be partying and instilling universal health care for all. She'll be taking those 7 years to really try to make it for the second
change
cut.
her tune. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think she'll be the host anymore. But maybe that will leave Janelle to do it.
I love that.
Yeah. That's just all things I'm interested in. But in terms of how I can move up in the world in these 7 years, I think Kelly Ripa's husband will be raptured, but she won't, which means she'll need a new co-host. And then I can message her and say like, hey, let's bond about being content creators that were left behind. And then I can be your new co-host.
Love that.
We'll still do this, but we probably will have to change the time of TGIF.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
This bitch just started. Oh, and now I've cursed in the first 10 minutes of YouTube, but she just
No, I
started
think
chewing
bitch
a
is
bone.
allowed.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's nice that misogyny prevails once again. Come over here. I haven't introduced you yet. You were waiting in the wings.
How's that going?
I mean, she's just staring at me. Now she's chasing her tail.
Her introduction's not here yet, so the kitties can just guess. What if this was a Coco reveal?
Yeah. Oh, God, she's chewing her tail.
Did you watch any Rapture talk?
I did. You know I did.
Ooh, I've seen little thumbnails. I couldn't click, I couldn't watch because watching mental illness isn't fun for me. So I can't watch.
I couldn't get into the woman who fell in love with her psychiatrist. I felt like we were all enabling like a deeply unwell woman. There does come a point where I'm like, at what point are we just really enabling psychosis? You know, I had to dabble. Like there was a woman who was talking about like, here's some things you should do before the rapture. Here's your checklist for your pre-rapture chores. And it was talking about like, make sure you get new underwear because it would be so embarrassing when you're raptured and you leave those skibbies behind that have skid marks. I'm like, great. So even in the afterlife, women have to be presentable. I was dabbling on like that side. I couldn't get into like the full rabbit hole of people who were like dropping their kids off at CPS to be taken care of, turning in their animals to shelters.
It's fucked that they just know that their kid won't be taken.
I know. Dr. Becky's always saying every kid is good inside, and these people are like, not our kid.
What if they only took one?
Well, here's the thing about the rapture is like rapture, it sounds like raptor, which is a dinosaur. It sounds like something that is not a good thing. And so I think in my mind, because I grew up Catholic and the rapture is like not a thing.
Right. And you never watched the Kirk Cameron movie.
True. I always assumed the rapture was like the bad thing that happens, but the rapture is like the good thing that happens where people get chosen to go to heaven. And then the rest of us get to have 7 years of peace before the world ends and the earth explodes or whatever. And I know that hell is the ultimate thing, but I would argue if hell is real, maybe the Mayans were correct and maybe 2012 was the end of the world and we've been living in hell ever since.
We're in the bad place.
I think so.
Anyway.
So if you're not here, let us know. What's it like up there? Can you stream us?
Because if you can't, I don't want to be there.
Well, this is coming from a man who makes his coworkers watch our YouTube in front of him. So your heaven would just be like a series of televisions where you have everybody in a circle just watching you.
Oh, yeah,
perform.
I do love that.
Uh-huh.
Let's keep it religious. I'll go first about what I did this week. I saw Him in theaters. The Jordan Peele produced movie.
Oh, okay.
You'll notice it's not in my recommendations.
Oh, no.
Chelsea, it was... And it sucks because everyone is saying the same thing. So, like, I've seen this on Reels. I've heard it on Beyond the Blinds. So, like, the things I'm about to say seem like they're not original, but I think everyone just had the same takeaways because I did say these things leaving the movie theater.
Well, and I think that we need to get away from a culture of needing hot takes. And I say this as a person who quite literally posts hot takes every single Friday in my Instagram. But I think that sometimes we don't need to be a naysayer. We don't need to play devil's advocate. We don't need to like have a hot take or be a contrarian. Sometimes it's okay to just be like, you know what? I agree.
So I do think it was visually stunning. There was a lot of nice light work. The colors were cool. I think it would have worked wonderfully as at its best, a music video. Like, to take the imagery you have decided and to shove it in 3.5 minutes as Sam Smith sings Auto Shop or whatever that song is. Love it.
That's what Sam Smith sounds like.
That's not how the song goes, though.
I know, but that's just like the same as Dave Matthews just sounds like, hey, na, na, na,
Okay.
Sam Smith is just like a chorus of kittens.
So imagine that with like head injuries, like football head injuries and like bloody bathtub water and blue lights, like you're at a nightclub. That was the vibe. So that at its best, that's what the movie should have been. I also would have settled for like a season of American Horror Story or like an episode of Atlanta or Black Mirror. Like it shouldn't have been a full movie.
Okay.
Because sometimes this is you with the headlines, sometimes this is me writing a novel, but I feel like they had one thing in their head and then they were like, oh, we have to flesh this out. You know what I mean? And that's where we lost the plot. So like there was one scene, because the whole thing is like this football player who had traumatic brain injury is in college, then goes on to like be a professional football player. So it's a little bit about brain trauma and then a little bit about like Black men being groomed to be professional football players, a
Okay.
little bit about like cult energy in sports fans, all of that. And there's a lot of religious imagery and dialogue in the movie. Like the main team is called the San Diego Saviors, and then
Okay.
the star player is Marlon Wayne, so it's a black man, but his last name is white, so like white savior, whatever, blah, blah, blah,
Okay.
blah, blah. So one scene is the main character, the Ryan Phillippe character in the new Cruel Intentions, it's him.
Okay.
Yeah, like he's at some press tour or whatever, and it's all close-ups at first, so you see him and the interviewer and another interviewer, and then when it backs up, it looks like The Last Supper. And I feel like someone had that in their head and was like, now we need to make a movie.
Right.
And that's how the whole
where
thing...
sometimes that could be like a stunning photo.
Yeah, or even like if the movie had a plot, then when that scene came, I would be like, I love that. But when it's just all things like that, there's no plot to discuss.
That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's disappointing because I've really liked all of his movies. I loved the Alien one. That was my favorite one.
Well, that is why I need to specify. He only produced this. And they are advertising it like Jordan Peele's new film. But it is not Jordan Peele's film. He threw money at it and I believe walked away. Because I do love a Jordan Peele feature.
I do. Yeah. Well, I've had a very busy week.
You have.
If the cuties couldn't tell, got my hands full. But may I introduce, come here, AB in the house. Got Aunt Becky. She's the cutest
beautiful.
little thing.
Yeah, she is.
He is really good. We have been recording for an hour already. We recorded our Desperate Housewives episode. She just slept like an angel on my lap the whole time. But she hasn't barked hardly at all. The only thing she barks at is Dr. Bald on his skateboard. So she's a real girl's girl.
Oh.
I know.
Now, I am glad you said she barks at Dr. Bald on the skateboard because I was afraid maybe we have a Helen Keller situation.
Becky! Becky! Oh, sorry. You just looked at me.
Well, you are screaming her name.
Well, and I guess that's good. She's learned her name. She's learned
good.
sit, she's learned stay, and she's learned her name. Now, I have accidentally really created a Joe Rogan type of environment in my home because the girls have learned about being an alpha. Like I was trying to explain to them, like if you let her jump on you and you let her play with you by jumping on you and like tackling you, she's thinking that you are either her equal and a playmate, or she's thinking that she is in charge of you. You can make that choice, but when she gets bigger and she still is only jumping on you, like you have made that choice.
Yeah.
So then we talked about like pack mentality and wolves and like what it means to be an alpha. And Sapphire has really taken this idea and run with it because she wants to be an alpha. And then this morning she came up to me as she's like brushing her hair, getting ready for school. And she's like, Mommy, do you think if I work hard enough, I could be the alpha of you? And I was like, oh, no, we don't need to be. I was like, well, we are humans. So we are not alphas. We're just human beings. And me and Daddy are your parents. So no, you're not the alpha of us in the house. And I'm like, oh, no, what have I done?
That's terrifying. Also, I feel like this is a lesson I needed to hear because now the next time I go over, I'm not going to let them jump on me anymore.
Well, much like I warned them, once patterns have been established, there's no going back. That's them peeing on you and marking their territory, which Aunt Becky did do to me. Immediately upon picking her up from the shelter, I picked her up and she was so happy, wagging her little tail and just peed down the front of me. So I guess she just let me know also that I was hers, but she's doing great.
Good.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, too, I got a haircut.
It looks great.
I'm wondering if I'm going through a midlife crisis. Because in the past 2 weeks, I have gone to the dentist, gotten my hair cut. I mean, once I get my Botox next week, it's over for you hoes. But there's a lot of changes happening.
Yeah, it could just be a crisis. Like, the earth is not great.
Maybe I'm just looking around and I'm saying,
yeah, it might not be about your timeline per se.
Like Bethany Frankel warned us, this is a crisis.
She did. Yeah, when you were looking for a haircut, you did send me pictures of kitty cuts. Well, first you asked for any inspiration. If I have inspiration of a short haircut you should get. And I didn't respond to that. But I did think like, oh, maybe I could look up a kitty cut. But my first thought was she won't be able to upkeep that. So I'm not going to send her a kitty cut for it to look great the first day and then never do it again. And then you sent me pictures of kitty cuts. And you were like, how do you feel about this? And I said, it'll look great the day you get it done. It'll look so good the day you get it done.
You said make a ton of content that first day you get it done. Yeah, and I went to a new hairdresser this week, and I love her. I'm going back.
Because that's something that needs to be said, too. You had someone else do it for once.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of the midlife crisis, I hate that I have to clarify, but no, I did not give myself this haircut. It was professionally done. And so the problem with why I hadn't gotten my hair cut in like almost 2 years, my old hairdresser who I loved had a baby and then stopped doing hair. Once I find somebody, it's just... I like to go to them. They know me. But I tried somebody new and I loved her. And I loved her because I showed her those photos and then I said, I just bought a Revlon air dry brush. I don't know how to do my hair. I'm working on it, but I don't do my hair. And then she looked at my hair and then looked at the photos I showed her and said, I'm not going to do this for you. And I said, okay. And she said, I'm going to do a bob and I'm going to do like some layers in the front that you can practice with your brush. And then she said, and then when you come back in 3 months, if you have felt like you've accomplished that and you've been styling that, then we can try to add more layers and do the full kitty cut. So we're working our way up to it. But I did appreciate, I want a professional to look me in the face and say no.
Yeah. I like
because
that
that's why I'm going to her.
Too. Now you do look, because I was like, who does she look like now? I was trying to figure it out. You do look like the girl from Hacks, the lesbian.
Okay. I don't know who you're referring to, but...
It's not a bad thing. It's just a fact.
Okay.
She just won an Emmy, for God's sake.
All right, I'm looking it up.
Hannah Bourbon Buyer or whatever?
Hannah Bourbon Buyer.
Just write Hacks Hannah.
Hacks lesbian.
Oh, that'll come up too.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not mad about that.
No, I said it's not a bad thing.
Well, I don't know. You have compared me, let's not forget, to a woman found in a ditch on the side of the road.
I never said that wasn't
Campbell
a bad thing.
At the end of Scream.
That is certainly not a bad thing. She's pretty at the end of Scream.
She's been traumatized.
And so have you. Here you are getting haircuts by professionals. If that's not screaming for help, I don't know what is.
Now, I do love the idea that a woman's midlife crisis is just like taking care of her health and having good oral hygiene and getting a nice bob, where a man's midlife crisis is like cheating on his wife and getting a sports car.
Well, you're the one that said that is what it is. You're not speaking for all women. There are women out there that also like need to spend all their money to go on a trip and stuff.
Okay. Hashtag not all women, I suppose. And I think you're right. I don't think that it is a midlife crisis. It just is objects in motion stay in motion, and I'm just getting shit done. And I think it's more the like back to school mentality of like, oh, it's fall. Mm-hmm. There's a crispness in the air. Let me go get an iced coffee and get some stuff done.
Yeah. Because as someone who some people think has had a midlife crisis already, a midlife crisis is about when you like look at your time spent on Earth already and know that there's only half left and you're like, oh, what have I achieved? So then that's when you go buy a new car, cheat on your wife, go on vacation, etc. Or you could get 3 tattoos in 4 months, go sober, and get a divorce.
Potato, potato, tomato, tomato.
It's really whatever is missing in your life.
I see.
So I do, not him, obviously, but I do have recommendations. And it is Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black on Netflix. Chelsea! For anyone who has watched The Hunting Wives on Netflix and was like, that was a lot of white mess, I wish that I found a black equivalent. Let me direct you to Beauty in Black, directed and written by Tyler Perry on Netflix. Season 2 just came out. The first half of Season 2 just came out. I didn't watch ever before, so I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Let me watch. It is about this rich family who owns a black beauty company. And in the pilot, we find out...
I see the name.
Yeah, Beauty in Black. In the first pilot, we find out they're being sued and, like, the stock's going down because their hair relaxer is, like, poisoning people's scalp or whatever. So they're going through that. At the same time, they have a money laundering scheme that they are putting money into a strip club on the side. So then we also deal with the people at the strip club and like what they do. And the main girl, Kimmy, is a stripper.
Are you about to tell us the whole plot?
No, this is no. I can't even begin to. It's all these words I can't even say on YouTube. But the main girl, Kimmy, in the pilot is a stripper or like a hired sex worker for one of the rich guys. And she doesn't know that like he's basically her boss, whatever. But we have drug use, we have murder, we have sex. Okay, one scene I do need to talk about. Okay. There's a gay character. He's the son of the owner of the beauty company, and he had full on butt sex, just right there for everyone to see. Thrust. Very graphic.
Do you see hole?
You don't see hole. But it was enough for me to rewind a couple times and take care of myself.
Great. So everybody think of that when you're watching Beauty in Black.
He was doing it. The mother comes in and he's like, what are you doing here? Thrusting still. As he talks to the mother, she hits him in the back of the head with a newspaper and she's like, get your black ass out of here. It was it's so good. For anyone that's like, this show sounds crazy, Kendrick watches it. So now you know the kind of mess we're dealing with. Kendrick and I talk every episode. It is good. Chelsea, I take videos of myself watching it and send them to Kendrick immediately, screaming.
I'm so glad you're enjoying it.
I love mess. And that's what this is.
You and Marie Kondo.
Yeah. And if you love mess, remember, we're on Patreon. So this week, The Summer I Turned Pretty aired its final episode and announced the movie. Jimmy Kimmel lost his job, but then Disney lost $4 billion, so he got it back. Taylor Swift told us she's bringing behind-the-scenes footage for Life of a Showgirl to theaters. Grindr crashed because so many people were at a memorial in Arizona. The final Wicked trailer dropped, and Camp Rock 3 officially began filming.
I want to talk about George Takei leading the Banned Books Week coming up and urging the fight against censorship. So actor and activist George Takei's next project is on behalf of a longtime passion, the right to read. 88-year-old Takei will serve as the honorary chair of Banned Books Week, which takes place October 5th to 11th. Libraries and bookstores around the country will highlight books that have been censored. And he went on to say, I remember all too well the lack of access to books and media that I needed growing up. First, as a young child in a barbed wire prison camp, then as a gay young man in a closet, I felt confused and hungry for understanding about myself and the world around me. So he's urging everybody to stand with him in opposing censorship so that we can all find ourselves and each other in books, which I find beautiful. Yeah. And I felt like it was a perfect tie-in to what I've been talking about all week, because do you ever have a thing where, well, yeah, we know you have a thing. It's going to be a very, very, very long day. But where something's like on the tip of your tongue and you have a memory or a thought and you like have the pieces of the puzzle, but you can't even picture what the puzzle should look like. So I have had, for the longest time, I have been thinking about this book that I read in middle school. And literally I posted to my Instagram and I said, it's about a girl who's like young and leaving her town, and she like either adopts or like comes into having a small child, and then they're like going on an adventure, and then there's this like 1-800-JESUS number that she always has as like an option for her to call if things ever get like so bad. And I posted that to my stories, and it was a true 50-50 split. Half of the people were like, you made this up, this is a fever dream, this is not a thing. And then half of the people knew exactly what I was talking about. I was talking about the book The Bean Trees.
I've never heard of it.
But then it led to me asking the Cuties what their formative, like, changed your brain chemistry, radicalized you books were. And there were a lot of consistent ones. There was, like, Animal Farm, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Glass Castle, The Giver. I mean, anytime I go on a rant or I get on my soapbox, you can blame the author of The Giver for that one. A Child Called It. And then, of course, I feel like it's, like, a millennial canon event to read about the girl with the green ribbon around her neck.
Did it come to your school?
It did not come to my school, no.
He came to our school and didn't tell us who he was and gave the whole speech. His mother
You just thought it was just a random man super passionate about child abuse?
He planned it like that so that at the end he could reveal it. And that child was me.
Oh, no.
And then we were all supposed to clap.
Well, as I was asking people, like, what are your formative memories? You did submit one. And yours was the last of the really great Wang Doodles.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Okay, well, I missed the prompt that it was like what molded you and made you who you are today. I just thought it was like a book I loved that we read in middle school.
Well, this does take us back to the summer that we did cover books on our podcast, and we did find out week 1 that the way you read is just by skipping to the parts that excite you. So it does make sense that you just read the first part of my prompt about books and you just answered accordingly without reading the whole prompt.
So it didn't, set my life in motion, but it is about 3 siblings. Let me just read the prompt. The Last of the Really Great Wang Doodles is a children's fantasy novel by Julie Andrews. The Julie Andrews.
Wow.
About 3 siblings who, with the help of a professor, travel to a magical land to find the last Wang Doodle, a wise and kind creature. Their journey involves facing various fantastical creatures, such as the treacherous Proc and the 10-legged Sidewinders, on their quest to meet the last Wang Doodle.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Coco would love it.
I think she probably would.
Yeah.
I just saw the title and I was like, of course. Once again, Donnie and I have lived very different lives where your favorite book was The Great Wang Doodle. I feel like that describes your time on Grindr, looking for the last really great Wang Doodle.
Oh, I'll make that my new bio. Okay, so Julie Andrews wrote that book, and our teacher read it to us. Like, she had the only copy. We didn't have copies. It was her personal copy, and she would, like, read us a chapter every day. So that was, like, a moment. But then I loved that book so much, I was like, I wonder if Julie Andrews wrote anything else. So then I looked it up, and her other book is called Mandy, and I'm going to read you that. And this I read on my own time. That is about a 10-year-old orphan named Mandy who finds a deserted cottage in the woods and makes it her secret home. She begins to secretly fix it up, borrowing, in quotes, items from orphanages and even trying to protect her secret. The story follows her efforts to create her own space, her eventual terminal illness, and how she finds a true home and family.
Well, that's just Project Makeover.
Her terminal illness is the windows breaking and the wind coming in that commercial.
And then having to chainsaw her toenails off. Oh my goodness. Well, that does explain a lot about
Mandy.
I feel like all of these books though really explain millennial culture of play because you've told us about the game you and your sister used to play where you got
Rags to
kidnapped
riches. Yeah.
/
Essayed, yeah.
Yeah, by a rich man that took you in, who might be your age, but might also just be like a daddy figure.
No, he was our age because his parents were the ones who essayed and abused us.
Oh, so he was your protector.
In some games, that was the twist. Some days he was our protector, some days he was part of it. Like, spoiler alert, get out.
Well, also just like any trauma, the inconsistency of like, maybe today will be the day he protects me. But yeah, the fact that that book was about an orphan living in the woods with a terminal illness.
Mm-hmm. I saw someone submitted this, Roll of Thunder, Hear Our Cry, I loved. And did I ever tell you, I'm sure I did, when we had to make bookmarks for a scene in that one, and I did the scene where someone burnt their store down, and I have her like this.
Like the Picasso painting.
Yeah.
We had a really weird assignment for that book. I think we've had this conversation beat for beat.
Probably.
I'm having deja vu, but it's not going to stop me from forging on.
For it.
But we had to debate whether or not we should boycott the Wallace store. And there's like a clear correct answer for this. But like we got split randomly, like 1, 2, 1, 2, like assigned. We had to debate each other for it and come up with debate points, like point, counterpoint.
Huh. Now I feel like in these days, 2025, again, back then you used to have to hide that you were a bad person. 2025, you don't have to. I feel like you wouldn't need to do 1, 2, 1, 2. You could just ask the class. Like, you stand on this side if you think you should, stand on this side if you shouldn't. And I think the class would still be split.
Yeah, it's basically just polling 7th grade of like, stand on this side and stand on this side and I'll know who your parents voted for.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that everything?
Yeah, so go read banned books.
Or, if you don't want to, you can watch nostalgic TV shows like Dawson's Creek, for one, who had their reunion this week for charity. And I don't know what charity it was. I think cancer. Could be lying to you. Maybe it'll help
charity.
Mandy in the woods, either way. But it was for charity. They did a reading of the pilot episode, and James Vanderbeek wasn't there. He was sick. He looks... I'm worried. But my heart is with him. His family was there, which is lovely. All of his little blonde kids, his wife, they sang the theme song at the end, and the kids were a part of that. That was great. But this was held in New York City, in the because it was on a Monday, so Hamilton doesn't have shows. So it was in the theater where Hamilton is that they did it. Yeah. And because the cast is in New York, I was hoping that they came to O'Mary on Tuesday. They didn't. None of them did. But Busy Phillips, who was in the reading and in Dawson's Creek, she has a daughter, and her daughter came to see O'Mary. But then I had to pretend I didn't know who she was, because she's not famous. I just I know who your mom is, but I didn't say that. Yeah.
I think that's nice. I think that's a good level of privacy, of not just being like, hey, you, I know you.
Well, now, if we're talking about Dawson's Creek cast members' kids, if it was Surrey that walked in there, I would have said, I'm a big fan.
You would have snatched that scarf from around her neck.
Give me a piece of your hair, or at least your ticket stub. I have a museum to make, which, by the way, the museum is up to Katy Perry's ticket stubs.
Which, did we know that Katy Perry had a daughter named Daisy?
We did.
Okay, I did not know this. Or maybe I did and I men in blacked myself like most facts that I learned.
Uh-huh.
There's no retention happening up
It's
in the
okay.
old brain. But I don't know if it makes her holding that daisy up and kissing it and bringing it to space cuter.
No, I think it's cute.
I think it's cuter. I think
Yeah.
now having context, because in my mind, she just plucked a random flower and brought it into space with her. But now that I understand it's an ode to her daughter, I do
Yeah.
kind of feel bad talking shit
No,
about
you still
her.
can, because she didn't need to sing "We Are the World" or whatever she sang afterwards.
Beautiful world and then firework.
Uh-huh.
Pick one.
Right.
Can you imagine you went up to space, the whole world hates you because you went up into space, and then the whole time you were in space, Katy Perry's singing to you?
That would be tough. But my museum has Katy Perry ticket stubs, Gayle King ticket stubs. That's 2 space women in my museum. Leighton Meester ticket stubs, and then the Olivia Rodrigo scarf.
Incredible. I can't wait to see who you stalk next.
Me neither. Also, I do have to say that it being in the Hamilton Theater, it makes things make more sense. But because James Van Der Beek is sick and couldn't attend the Dawson's Creek reading, we needed someone to play Dawson. And that someone was Lin-Manuel Miranda. An odd choice.
An odd choice. Now, he does famously still follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
Whenever he gets brought up, I do have to just share that little fact. I recently followed him back because I do think that he would be an iconic guest for our show.
Did you reach out?
No, I gave him the follow back, playing it cool.
Okay.
Doing the 7-day rule or whatever.
Okay.
But when you first said this to me, that he was playing this character, I didn't understand what it was in reference to. Because a lot of times you present things to me like I should know it. And most of the time I should know it. But you know that I have laser focus about very specific pop culture things. So a lot of times you'll say things and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And this time I did say, oh, that's crazy, because I thought they were rebooting Dawson's Creek and he was going to be like a recast for that character. And I contemplated that for a long time that day. I wonder if he's just going to be the fill-in for a love interest that's going to take the place of that. Are they going to talk about the fact they've recast, or is it going to be like soap opera rules where a new person pops up and everybody just acts like it's the same person it's been all along? So it being a reading at least brings me some clarity and peace.
Not me, because I I feel like it just changes the tones. Like, this is a man. And again, iconic guest. He would be an iconic guest. This is a man who cannot act.
But boy, can he write a bop.
He can write a bop, but that's not what he was asked to do in this task. And again, there's no footage of the reading of it, but like, I just imagine Katie Holmes doing her thing and saying like, Dawson, da 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 da. And then he goes, Eliza! Like, no, we don't. We can't. Why not? Why not someone of like equal fame from that time? Why not a Scott Wolf? Why not a Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yeah, that is true.
And that's it.
That's it. Shall we move on to Cutie of the Week?
Let's do it.
My Cutie of the Week is Hallmark.
Okay.
Because the girl from Halloween Town, the original girl, the real girl.
Not too much on Sarah Paxton. You can relax.
And then Lacey Chabert will be starring in a Halloween movie called Haul Out the Halloween, premiering October 11th. And I cannot wait.
Well, you know what it is, right?
What?
The reason I sent you this article is, yes, that's iconic casting, but it's a continuation of the one you like about the man who, the HOA guy. It's the same universe.
I know that.
Yeah, Haul Out the Holly, and now Haul Out the Halloween.
Oh, gosh. So I still have to watch the second HOH movie because I only watched the first one where she became like indoctrined into HOH. And apparently the second one is full HOH propaganda where...
HOH or HOA?
HOA. Okay. I'm just in Big Brother mode. Imagine, though, now Hallmark needs to do that. Imagine a holiday.
Oh.
You know? Because, like, Nora on The Reality Is says it shouldn't be pronounced HOH. It should be pronounced ho. So what if we had, like, a Big Brother Hallmark movie where they're, like, locked in a house together on national television and somebody has to believe in the spirit of Christmas before the clock strikes 12.
You know, I feel like networks don't rely on the people they already have already enough. Bravo should have Christmas movies. Bravo should have a Big Brother competition. Bravo should be doing all this. But in turn, CBS has have 27 seasons of Big Brother, 50 seasons of Survivor. Why are they not forcing the best ones to act? Why have we not had Parvati and Boston Rob in a Christmas movie on CBS?
If we can do Sharknado, certainly we can do some Big Brother spin-off Hallmark movies.
Yeah. Do you remember MTV when they did their, it might have been a little before your time. MTV did the Lost season of Real World, and it was a movie, but it was a scary movie, but it was on TV, so it was only scary enough. But it was supposed to be 7 strangers picked to live in a house, but then when they got there, they found out, like, something's weird. This doesn't feel like what I think the house should be. And it was because someone that didn't get picked for a season made a house, got these people that were actually cast but had it redirected. And then he had cameras all around and was like, if you want to survive, you have to do this.
I love that.
Me too.
Yeah. So anyway, the second movie of the HOA, it's full propaganda because I guess her and the boyfriend now are like fighting against hippies that move on the block and want to, you know, have their grass too long or whatever. So I can only imagine what this is going to be. I'm so
excited.
The
Halloween.
Coming soon, October 11th.
Something else coming in October, Chelsea. The new season of 911.
Oh.
Now, for those of you following along at home, the trailer did come out a few weeks ago where we see the main characters come out and look towards the sky. Some pull down their sunglasses and we're like, what are they looking at? What are they looking at? And then at the end of the trailer, we see
the Rapture.
Asteroids, even better than the Rapture. Asteroids coming. Or like pieces maybe of a space station. We don't know. But something falling from the sky. Because that's how the whole trailer starts. We get a call that says, 911, what's your emergency? And like Chicken Little, they say, the sky is falling. So then we see all that. Pop Crave posted a picture of Angela Bassett in space. They're sending... They're sending Angela Bassett to space.
I love how 911 is like, jump the shark. No, baby girl, we're going to jump the world.
I can't wait.
Maybe this is what's going to get me fully in because, you know, I love a disaster movie.
Yeah.
But in what world would she be the one who gets called into the big guns? Of like, you know what we need? This police chief needs to get suited up and zooted up into space. Yeah,
at least other times, like when she was in the airplane where the roof blew off and the captain was sucked out.
She had to land the plane.
Yeah, at least she was like already in that airplane. But like, there's no, unless it's like she's up there with Katy Perry, there's no world where like she would just happen to be in space.
And like, what is the plan? Like,
Not quite
imagine that the world gets exploded and then the rest of the series just takes place like 911, what's your emergency? Oh, well, we're all in space. So that's kind of the emergency baseline each and every day.
Well, I would stop watching. You know, I hate deserts and space.
True.
But luckily, we also are getting 911 Nashville, and the poster, no trailers have been out yet, but the poster for the premiere of 911 Nashville is at the foreground of the picture, a water park. Picture a water park, and the slide broken in half, and there's a fireman on a ladder saving a girl that's like half off, but then in the back of the photo, we see Nashville fully on fire.
Wow.
If that's what we have to look forward to in the pilot, Nashville has a hold on me.
Now, Cuties, before we let you go, I do want to let you know, like, this is not a bit. This is not like a bit Donnie does for the show where, you know, once a month at this point, he is making 911 his cutie of the week so he can, like, update us on the plot of a show on network television about police officers. Because I've heard, boots on the ground, you did this at Nora's birthday party.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wish, like, I almost need to create a group chat with the people that I went with, Kendrick, Tom, Kix, Nor, RT, but also, like, the other people that were sitting around us. I might need to ask Nor, like, hey, what's your sister-in-law's phone number? Because I feel like they were cheated to know that Angela Bassett's going to space.
Yeah, so Donnie did spend Nora's birthday party telling strangers at the table the plot of 911.
A good half hour of it. And like as the conversation would wind down and like someone else was like, oh, my daughter went to whatever ballet today. I was like, oh, wait. One more thing. There also was a hostage.
Speaking of ballet.
Yeah. Not even, at least speaking of ballet would show that I'm semi-listening. Like mine was like, there also was a hostage situation at the 911 operating center, which then proved the whole time you were telling your story, I was just up here.
Thinking about 911.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Not a bit. Famously not a bit. Now, I haven't watched the end of last season yet, though. So I do need to get caught up before Angela Bassett gets zooted on up to space because ever since, spoiler alert, her husband died last season, I haven't watched. And not because I was on strike, but just because the momentum went downhill for me.
And so when he gets caught up, guess what, cuties? We're getting caught up whether we want it or not.
But I like having a little segment. It is Cutie of the Week, so it's already a segment. But I like being able to hijack, much like a 911 episode, I like being able to hijack a segment and just tell you what I'm watching. And I think we should feel the freedom to do that. So, like, if Salt Lake City is good this season, let's do it. If The Traitors is good this season, we don't need a whole other episode. We can just talk about it right here.
Okay. Now, here's where I'm cautious about this. It's like things like Salt Lake City. I think I just have such trauma from our Bravo podcast days where we'll have to rely on the cuties to gatekeep Girl Boss a little bit and like check each other in the comments and remind newcomers, like kind of set the vibe, do a vibe check of like, if we're talking about Salt Lake City, we're not going to be breaking it down like Bravo podcasters who do a great job doing it and dissecting the minutia and the nuance. We're going to be like probably celebrating the most chaotic person on screen that everybody else hates, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like we could just cover it until like both of us aren't watching anymore. Or just week to week if it was like a good episode that we wanted to get into.
I love that for us.
I was worried for a moment that you were going to say like, can we make a 911 segment where each week I can just tell you what happened on 911?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
You kind of do it already.
If you like this episode of I Am the Cute One or of 911, please send it to someone else who might enjoy it as well. And reminder about our Patreon, patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne. Also, go subscribe to our YouTube. We will talk to you later. Love you like a sister.
Bye.
Bye.